Self-sufficiency is a cornerstone of the mission of the Bucks County Women's Fund. Our first grant recipient is the American Red Cross Lower Bucks chapter, which will use its grant money for its fiscal literacy program, whose goal is to provide low-income women with the skills they'll need to become economically self-sufficient. Skills like reconciling a bank statement, creating a household budget, and determining the difference between wants and needs. Age-appropriate workshops will teach children similar skills in order to establish an understanding of financial management from a very young age. William Burns, director of the Red Cross Shelter in Bucks County, tells us why this is important and how this grant will help.
Some of the most critical pieces of information that people need to manage their own personal finances are the things that we teach on a daily basis, such as how do you develop a savings plan, how do you develop a budget and stick to it, how do you go to the grocery store and shop prudently and within your family's budget, and how do you make those kinds of economic choices that don't put your family at risk for future financial calamity. Well, what this grant will help us do is send that incredibly important message that you can learn, that just because you didn't learn about fiscal literacy and the kinds of things you need to be successful at one point doesn't mean you can't learn them in another environment. The shelter is a place where we can teach a tremendous number of things, but we need that kind of support in order to do that. Well, we're incredibly proud and grateful for having been chosen. It's a sign that the women of Bucks County have not forgotten their sisters who might be experiencing the kinds of difficulties that happen. Victims of domestic violence, people who have made different kinds of choices that have ended them up in the shelter, can still make the change that they need to be successful. They can still grow. They can still learn the skills that they need to achieve financial independence.
The Bucks County Links Youth Program is our next grant recipient. It encourages the development of leadership skills among youth, which resonates with the fund's interest in developing next-generation philanthropy. Links accomplishes this by bringing together young people from various community groups, like Jack and Jill, the YWCA, the NAACP, and Big Brothers Big Sisters, who then meet on a regular basis and share leadership ideas, which then they take back to their respective groups. Why is it essential to help today's young people become tomorrow's leaders? Clarice Taylor, president of the Links, explains.
Well, today's world is so challenging, and part of what we do in our youth council is we develop leaders who can meet those challenges. So we look at developing, sharing with teens different leadership styles, teaching them how to network, how to communicate effectively. We look at showing them the ways that they can make decisions and set goals. And then they use those skills in our Teen Leadership Institute to develop a culminating activity where they're able to participate and help us plan that event. Well, we need to empower our young people to make the right decisions for their lives. So this training program allows them to meet the challenges that they face on a day in and day out basis. Well, the grant from the Bucks County Women's Fund came at the most critical time for us, because although this is our 5th annual Teen Leadership Institute, in these tough economic times, we were really trying to figure out how we were going to have this event, trying to be creative. And when we got this call, I can't tell you how much it meant to us, because we reached over 350 teens last year, and the program has been growing since its inception. And the thought of having to cut back on that was really a hurtful thought for us. So it meant the world.
Any working mother will tell you how challenging finding the right childcare can be, and any shift worker can tell you how tough those jobs are. Now imagine trying to do both, a working mom who works hours when childcare is not normally available. Liberté Inc. is addressing this issue, and that's why it is our final grant recipient this year. It's providing a new child care program that has been developed to help low-income women who are trying to be economically self-sufficient but who need help taking care of their children. Kathy Curtin is the Associate Director of this innovative program.
We have created an evening and nighttime child care program which will support the community in our efforts to really make available to women who might need to take a second shift job not to leave out the men, because we will service men too who have young children, and families in general, couples. But we're really focusing on women in the area who otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity to have a paying job and be able to support their family. We researched the area and we could not find any program in the area, so we really felt like this would be a good opportunity to provide the community with a well-needed resource. Well, the grant specifically helps in that the program is housed within Liberté, which is a nonprofit organization, and to start a new program, of course, takes funds. And it would not have been something we would have been able to do without funding. We need to hire more staff, we need to get extra supplies for our existing child care center, and without those funds, we really would not be able to do it.
The Bucks County Women's Fund salutes the efforts of these fine organizations and congratulates them on their efforts to meet the needs of women and girls in our community. And your continuing financial support of the fund enables us to make a substantial difference in so many lives.
On behalf of all the homeless families that we serve, we want to say thank you very much.
On behalf of everyone at Liberté, and the program that we're opening is called Sweet Dreams Night Care. So we really cannot thank the Women's Fund enough. So we really, really thank you from the bottom of our hearts, everyone at Liberté.
Bucks County Women's Fund, thank you, because you allowed us to sustain this program for another year.